you know me. I don't know, Mr. Prince, if you know me or not. Okay, so my name is actually Ronald Kashweka, and you've probably seen me on YouTube. I like doing this. In fact, I actually love doing this. I I spend most of my time offering sessions, learning Excel, teaching Excel, and also learning new skills. Maybe it's Excel, new Excel skills or accounting skills, or basically just IT. Okay, and I've been offering sessions for a few years now, both online sessions and physical sessions. Okay, so I've done management accounting for some people. Last year, people wrote starting June, March, even the this week, last week rather, people were writing, and I actually taught them. The same with financial accounting, management accounting, financial reporting, and a number of other ZICA subjects as well. You can also find my videos on YouTube. The YouTube videos are very much free, including this session. You can actually find them there. Okay, so today I said we are going to do an introduction to management accounting, and that's exactly what we are going to do. So our objective today is, by the time we are done with this session, we'll have to be 100% comfortable with at least some concepts pertaining to management accounting. We'll have to understand what management accounting is. We need to be in a position of being able to define it, explain it, give examples of management accounts, and also basically understanding any other terminologies that we're supposed to understand in management accounting. And then also, as a plus, the other thing that we are going to talk about is tips. Because I've been teaching management accounting for some time now, and because I have solved a number of past papers for management accounting, I believe there are certain tips that I can share, or an approach to the exam that can actually assist us in ensuring that we clear our exams in September. Okay? All right, so that's what we are going to do today. Okay, so today we are going to understand what management accounting is. We are going to understand what management accounting is. And yes, Mr. Prince, maybe if you're wondering, most of the time I actually use Excel for my sessions. I do my typing, my computations, my calculations, everything via Excel, my tables, everything that I need to do via Excel. Or basically, you probably in your exam you probably write it, but for me, I actually do all this via Excel. Okay, so today we are going to understand what management accounts are. So what are management accounts? Okay, let's put it like this. You're working for a certain company, okay? Like imagine you're working for ShopRite. You're working for ShopRite, and you have managers, okay? Or basically you have directors, you have the board, you have people who are in charge of the business. Okay, and then the people who are in charge of the business actually ask you for something, because they actually need, the thing is, they need to make decisions. Okay, they need to make decisions pertaining to their business. I'll give an example. Imagine this. I'm the one in charge. Okay, I'm the one running. Imagine you're working for RK Solutions as a management accountant, and then I'm the manager. Okay, I'm the executive manager, and I need to make decisions. I'm like, okay, I want to make decisions on sales. Should we increase our marketing budget, or should we reduce our marketing budget? Or maybe I'm like, okay, last year's marketing budget was 20,000 kwacha, but what was the benefit? Okay, so the person who actually helps in answering all those questions is you as a management accountant. Okay, so a management accountant is basically an individual or an accountant who basically gives reports to managers or to management to ensure that they make informed decisions. So management accounting, we can define it as the process of preparing management reports and accounts that provide, we have two things here. I said management accounting is the process of preparing management reports, accounts that provide both financial and non-financial information. When you are doing your financial accounting, the emphasis was on financial information. Everything was financial information. But when we talk about management accounts, we are also referring to non-financial information. And when we talk about financial information, we are not just talking about financial statements. We are also talking about other financial reports. Examples of other financial reports, we can talk about things like budgets, forecasts. Okay, you might need to prepare a budget for your manager. You might need to prepare a sales report for your manager. Okay, all those reports are not really financial statements, but they are financial data for the future, because they are forecasts. Okay, you're not sure if it's going to happen. It's probably it's just a plan. That's how you want it to be, but things might change. But for the meantime, this is how it's going to be. This is how we see our future. That's those forecasts. And then the non-financial data that we're talking about here can be any other reports that talk about things like employee behavior, okay, your compliance levels, how you are benefiting the environment and the communities, basically anything relating to your business. Okay, so management accounting is the process of preparing. So management accounting is the process of preparing management reports. That's the reason why I'm not just saying management accounts, I'm saying management reports and accounts. Okay, management reports and accounts. These reports and accounts are supposed to provide two things. These reports and accounts are supposed to provide two things. That's financial and non-financial data. Or information. But what's the purpose is to aid managers or management in decision making. Okay, so the main reason why you're actually preparing these management accounts is to help managers in decision making. I'll give you an example. Let me give you just an example. Let's say you can give a sales reports to your management. You're like, okay, these are the sales, this is our sales report, and then they look at it like, okay, last month these are the decisions that we made, and because of those decisions that we made, this is what we achieved. It can either be good or bad depending with the report that you've actually given management, and then that will actually assist them in making new decisions, because they'll know where they probably maybe made mistakes. Okay, if maybe they'll know if the decision they made was wrong or if the decision was correct. Management. Let me repeat this. Management accounts are management reports and accounts, okay, focusing on both financial and non-financial information prepared for the purposes of decision making for the managers. Okay, so the key word that we are supposed to understand is that management accounts are actually for internal use. I know during the exam, let me give you a hint. Okay, let me tell you this, let me give you a hint. During the exam, there's a very high chance that you might find a question asking for the difference between financial accounting and management accounting. Mr. Prince, Rowena, do you agree with me that there's a chance you might find a question asking for the difference? Maybe a theory question.
Yes, I do.
There is a chance. But just from the definition, we can actually tell financial accounts are for everybody. Management is just all stakeholders, management, the government, etc. Anyone who actually wants investors, anyone who wants to see the financial statements. Management accounts are just for managers. Okay, so the key word that we are supposed to understand is that management accounts are entirely prepared for internal use. Financial accounts are for external use. Management accounts are for internal. And when I'm talking about internal and external, I'm looking at your organization. Internal, I'm referring to within your organization. External, I'm referring to outside your organization. So financial accounting are not just external, it's financial accounts are actually both internal and external, whilst management accounts are just external. Yes, so that's the way it is. So it's very, very different. Management accounts are actually very different if we compare them. They're slightly different, rather, if we compare them to financial accounts. Financial accounts are for external users, both internal and external users. Management accounts are just for internal users. Okay, so that's what management accounting is. But what is the purpose of management accounting? But what is the purpose of management accounts? Okay, what is the purpose? I've actually mentioned one. Hello, sir, are you there? Is it possible if you can help with the purpose of management accounts?
It helps with the decision making process.
Okay, yes, it actually helps with the decision making purpose, because the main reason why we have management accounts is so as to give management information that they'll need for them to make informed decisions. So, number one, we can say the purpose is to basically help in planning and control. Okay, it helps management when it comes to planning and control, and also decision making within the organization, not really outside, but just within the organization. The keyword internal use, and also it actually helps management to set goals. To analyze to set goals, to analyze performance, or basically to just allocate resources. Because then from your reports, they will then know which department needs more funds, or which area of their business is supposed to finance, or which area of their business is lagging behind. Okay, and also it helps them management accounts actually provide relevant information uh, for the process of cost control. By cost control, we are talking about things like controlling the cost. Let's say, for instance, if you are controlling the cost of producing something, if you are, I'll give you an example. If you are making desks, you are in a business, a manufacturing business that manufactures desks, and then you spend like 20 kwacha on nails, 50 kwacha on the timber, and another 50 kwacha on the wood. That's about 120 kwacha per desk. If you look at it in terms of the production cost, and then um, let's say you can use that information for last year. Like for instance, last year we look at our expenses, our production expenses, just like the ones that I gave you in producing a desk, and then we use that information to try and estimate our future costs. Okay. Also, those costs can assist us in setting up a price, because the price is determined by the cost. You firstly know the total costs, and then add a margin or a markup on the cost so as to come up with a selling price per unit. Meaning, The source again is the management accounts. First, you get management accounts. You tell your cost. You get management accounts. You calculate your costs, and then after you know all your costs, you set up a price. So they assist us in controlling our costs, controlling our pricing, and basically budgeting purposes because we use past information to forecast the future. And also, it will assist management in terms of investment decisions. Okay, it will assist management in terms of investment decisions. Management, the business, it will assist management to see which areas they're supposed to invest money on. Okay, and also if they're supposed to, let's see, invest in another way of doing something. Like I can give an example. Let's say, for instance, if you are selling something and then you are marketing, you are marketing it's using a particular style and then it's not really working. From your management accounts, it will show you your performance, and then after you see your performance, you should to try and invest in another marketing strategy. Okay, so the purposes I said it helps in planning, it helps in planning, controlling, and making decisions. Okay, that's the what's the other purpose that I said, Mr. Leon?
Planning, control, decision making, and budgeting. Is it?
Yes, there's budgeting. Yes, I did say budgeting, and also we talked about investing decisions. We also talked about allocating resources, and what else? Pricing and cost control. Yeah, we mentioned. All right. So now that we understand the purpose of management accounting, we know why it's important. We understand what management accounting is now, and then now we know why management accounting is important. Let's get to the differences between management accounting and financial accounting. I actually gave you a tip, by the way. I was like, there's a very high chance you might find such a question in your exam. You might be going through a paper and then a question pops up asking for the differences between financial accounting and management accounting. Okay, so let's get to the differences. We have so many differences between management accounting and financial accounting, but we will only talk about the key differences, the common differences. Okay. All right. I know I've actually talked about some differences. I've talked about some differences. Number one, I remember saying financial accounting is used by both external and internal users. Financial accounts are important to the managers, to the employee, but are also important to the outside world, to the public, to the government, to ZRA, to ZEMA, okay? To the bank if you want to get a loan, to the investors if they want to invest in your business. Okay? The other thing that I said is financial accounts are made for both internal use and external use. There is users and there is use, by the way. These are two different answers. Mr. Luena, are you getting it? There is
Yes,
use
yes.
and there is users. The first one I say external and internal users, and I even gave examples of users of financial statements. Okay, but the second difference that I'm giving you is the use. The financial accounts are meant for internal and external use, and management accounts are made for external, no, not external, are made for internal use. That's it. We can actually classify these differences. Just give me a second. Let me type this. Okay, so we are looking at the differences between financial accounts and management accounts. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you the keywords. Okay, I'm going to give you the keywords. These are the words that you have to remember every single time, because the words will help you remember the differences. Like I do. I remember when I was doing financial accounting, I liked giving mnemonics, memory aids to assist you in terms of remembering. Okay, so let me see if I can drop something. Let me say the aspect first, and then we say we have financial. I put financial accounting. Okay, and then in management accounting. Okay, so the aspects, they're basically the elements that I'm going to give you. They'll assist us in terms of determining differences between financial accounting and management accounting. Okay, so the first one that I said, which I've already given you the answer, I said is users. What did I say about users, Mr. Lwena? Or Mr. Prince? Mr. Prince? Wait, Mr. Prince, what did I say about users? What's the difference? Hello? Hello? Mr. Prince, do you remember what I said about the users?
So for financial accounting, it's both
Hello?
internal and external.
Okay, so financial accounting, we said it's both the users, it's both external
And internal.
and internal. And then for management accounts,
Just internal.
okay, internal. Okay, that's one of the differences. So we have the first difference, which is own users, okay, which is own users, and it's telling us that the difference is external and internal. The differences are financial accounts are meant for external and internal users, whilst management accounts are meant for just internal users. Okay, and then the other difference is the regulation, regulated by the International Accounting Standards Board. Okay, so financial accounts must follow standards. When you're preparing financial accounts, you have to follow standards. But for management accounts, you are preparing financial accounts, you have to follow international accounting standard number one. Hello, sorry for that. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Okay. So for management accounts, they are not regulated. They are actually prepared as per management discretion. Okay. And remember, you said this one is low. Is it still very low? Hello.
I can hear here. I don't know about Mr. Prince.
Okay. Okay. So they are prepared as per management's discretion. I'll give an example that I can give you is every single time you are preparing financial accounts, you have to follow International Accounting Standard number one. Every single time you're preparing financial accounts, you have to follow International Accounting Standard number one, which tells you the format, how to write the title, and basically how to account for everything. But for management accounts, if you are preparing management accounts, you are not required to actually follow that format. If you are preparing management accounts, it's not mandatory for you to follow that format. You can only do it if you want to, but it's not really something that you're supposed to do. Financial
Mr. Prince,
reporting in
it's
management accounts. Number one, users. Number two, regulations. Okay, and we've said we don't have any. We understand everything that we're supposed to understand in terms of the differences in terms of regulation, especially regulation, because I know it might be talking about standards, and standards you most likely learn about standards in financial reporting, the conceptual framework, the regulatory framework, and the International Accounting Standard Board. Okay, so the other the other thing that can actually differentiate the financial accounts and management account is the period. Okay, the period. By period, I'm talking about the time you actually, like the period you actually cover when you prepare financial statements. I'll give an example. When you're preparing financial accounts, you actually prepare them annually. Okay? When you're preparing financial accounts, you actually prepare them annually. But when you're preparing management accounts are prepared as per your discretion as well. Okay? They can be done weekly, monthly, daily, although I don't think there's any business that does them daily, but you can do them weekly, monthly, yearly, or every after 2 years, depending with what your management wants. But for financial accounts, you prepare them every single year. That's why you have year-end financial statements. Every single time, end of your financial year, you prepare your financial accounts. Okay, so these are prepared annually, or so these are prepared as per management's discretion. That's the period. Okay, and also the other difference is the information. Financial accounts focus on financial information only. They focus on financial information only, whilst management accounts focus on both financial and non-financial information. Focus on financial and non-financial information. Like the example that I gave you when I was explaining this, when I was talking about things like your compliance levels, your employee behavior, you can actually find all that under management accounts. And then the other difference that we can talk about is the focus. Okay, so financial accounts actually focus on past, they focus on historical data. You will never see a financial focus in financial accounting. Because when you talk about financial accounting, we are mainly looking at financial statements, and you won't really see a focus. Instead, what you see are things like an income statement on things that happened already, a cash flow statement also on things that happened already, a balance sheet on past information. But for management accounts, they focus on both historical data, okay, or let me say they focus on future and current operations. Okay, management accounts, they mainly focus on future and current operations. Or we can include the past as well. We can say historical, future, and current operations as well. Okay, so these are some of the differences that differentiate management accounts with financial accounts. So the first one we said it's users. Financial accounts are both for external, sorry, yeah, yeah, financial accounts are both for external and internal users, whilst management accounts are just for internal use. Regulation, financial accounts are supposed to follow standards, whilst management accounts are prepared as per management's discretion. The period, financial accounts are done annually, whilst management accounts are still prepared as per management's discretion. The information, financial accounts cover just financial information, whilst management accounts cover both financial and non-financial information. Also, the focus, financial information use only historical data, whilst management accounts cover historical data, future information, and current operations. Any questions on the differences so far?
Mr. Ronald,
Yes, sir.
is it okay to answer it like this, using this format in the exam?
To answer it using this format in the exam. Yes, you
as
can.
financial accounting, management accounting, like that.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You find it way easy to answer it like this.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, if you master, like for instance, there's users, regulations, there's the forecast, there's the type of information, then it will be very easy for you to answer the question. Because the first word that you think of is, let's say you might think of the aspect like users, and then you think about the difference. And then like regulation, I'm like, okay, so regulation is different because it's like this. And then again, you're like the period, and then like the period is different because it's like this. Okay, so apart from the purpose and just understanding what management accounting is, there are also other things that we are supposed to understand. Okay, there are also other things that we are supposed to understand. And number one, we are supposed to understand what we term as cost classification. Okay, we are supposed to understand what cost classification is. Okay, or basically how we can classify various types of costs. Like for instance, you can classify costs by element. Example, we can talk about materials, labor, or just overhead. Or you can classify costs by function, like production cost, admin cost, selling cost, factory rent, office salaries. Okay, or you can classify costs by behavior. Like for instance, fixed costs, variable costs, or semi-variable costs. Okay, or we can basically classify costs by their relevance. We can be like, we have an irrelevant cost, we have a relevant cost as well. Okay, and then apart from understanding the cost classification, we also have to make sure we understand the costing methods. Are you familiar with cost accounting, sir? Hello? Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with cost accounting?
Yes, I've got a bit of knowledge on it, but I can't say I'm 100% familiar.
Okay. Yeah. For us to be comfortable with this, we also need to understand costing methods like the job costing, the process costing, the activity-based costing, the marginal costing. Um, the main ones are, let's say, for instance, activity-based costing, the marginal costing. These are the main ones that we are supposed to know because they might even give you questions. Like, for instance, you saw the questions we were looking at yesterday. Okay, they might give you, yeah, they might give you questions regarding these ones. Okay. Also, you're supposed to understand the cost volume profit analysis. This one will look at it as a separate topic. Okay. This one will look at it as a separate topic where we understand what break-even point is, the contribution margin, the margin of safety. Okay, and then also we'll get to budget and budgetary control. Okay, where we get to understand a number of things. So these other things that we are that we are supposed to talk about is basically a summary of the topics of which we did yesterday. But otherwise, this is what management accounting is, and these are the differences between management accounting and financial accounting. The next thing that we are supposed to do now is actually to get into details, the actual topics. This is the first thing, the introduction, understanding the difference, and understanding what management accounting is. Okay. The next thing will be us getting into the topics.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay. I know you. We have another session again at 16:30, so I want to give you a bit of some time.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Do you have any questions on what we've talked about today?
No, so far so good.
Okay. All right, perfect. Then let's just prepare for our next session, 16:30.
Okay, so I'll join at 6:30.
All right, sir. Thank you.